Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a camera comparison of two smartphones below the 20,000 price segment in India. So we have the Poco M2 Pro with a quad camera setup launched recently, and we're going to compare it with last year's Note series smartphone, the Redmi Note 8 Pro. It's still a really good device with quad camera setup. So in this video we'll be comparing the camera aspects of these two devices. So if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. Now coming to the camera. So the Poco M2 Pro has a 48 megapixel Samsung GM2 sensor. It is f-stop 1.8 aperture. We have an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, 5 megapixel macro sensor and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Along with that we have a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Now coming to the Redmi Note 8 Pro, it has a 64 megapixel Samsung GW1 sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensor and a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and we have a 20 megapixel selfie camera included. So that's the hardware aspect. Now let's go straight into the camera samples to see which one performs better. First, let's have a look at the video recording. Here both the smartphones can record videos in 1080p resolution as well as 4K resolution is supported. 1080p resolution has support for both 30 and 60 fps, and there is stabilization offered on both the phones. The stabilization looks good on both the phones. If you look at the video quality, the Redmi Note 8 Pro has better overall colors than the Poco M2 Pro. Poco has the tendency to saturate the colors, especially the greens, while the Redmi Note 8 Pro maintains more of natural colors and also the sharpness levels are better. So here we would pick the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Next up, the daylight captures. Looking at the captures, you can see both offers good performance, details and sharpness levels are also quite okay. Now things change when you look at the color reproduction, which is slightly better overall on the Note 8 Pro, while Poco looks a bit saturated at times. The dynamic range seems to be quite good on both the phones. The Poco M2 Pro images are a bit warmer, while the Redmi Note 8 Pro is a bit cooler in tones. Also, when you zoom into the pictures, you can clearly see that the Redmi Note 8 Pro 64 megapixel offering has better details and sharpness level. So here we would pick the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Both the devices have 8 megapixel ultra wide angle cameras, and the images are once again better looking on the Redmi Note 8 Pro with more details and better colors and overall quality. Moving on to the close-up shots, both the devices offer good details and sharpness levels. Here the Poco M2 Pro did have a slight edge in terms of the sharpness levels, while the colors look quite similar. Both the devices have macro camera. Here again the Poco M2 Pro's 5 megapixel macro sensor takes the lead with slightly better details. Next, the portrait shots. Here both the devices performed well, but once again the Redmi Note 8 Pro takes the lead with better colors and also sharper portraits. The edge detection was good on both the devices. Now moving on to the low light images, you can see that with adequate indoor lighting, both the devices perform pretty good with lesser noise and details. But when light drops further, in extreme low light condition, the Poco M2 Pro quality goes down with higher noise levels. The Redmi Note 8 Pro has noise, but the details are better. When it comes to night mode, once again the Redmi Note 8 Pro takes the lead with better overall details. So here in terms of the low light experience, the Redmi Note 8 Pro wins. Finally, the selfie experience. The Poco M2 Pro has a 16 megapixel shooter, while the Redmi Note 8 Pro has a 20 megapixel shooter. While the selfies are more of a personal choice, we like the selfie experience of the Redmi Note 8 Pro with better sharp selfies and also better dynamic range. Even in terms of portrait selfies, our pick would be the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So this is the front-facing camera sample taken with the Poco M2 Pro, so you can record videos in 1080p resolution, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the video. So this is the front-facing camera sample taken with the Redmi Note 8 Pro, so it can record videos in 1080p resolution, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the video. So as you can see from the camera comparison, we feel that the Redmi Note 8 Pro has better cameras overall. It may not be by a huge margin because almost similar performance, but then the Redmi Note 8 Pro was our choice, probably because of the slightly better image color reproduction, and also the low light experience was also a tad better. Also the video recording was a bit more natural in color reproduction compared to the Poco M2 Pro. So that was the camera comparison of the Poco M2 Pro with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. So what do you guys think about these two cameras? Which one did you like in the camera comparison? Do share in your thoughts in the comment section. This is Nirmal signing off with the camera comparison of the Poco M2 Pro with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.